Hello. We are here in Abilene, Texas. Guys, we arrived, I arrived in Joe Beach here. Is the qualifier, one of three qualifiers again. I think Texas overall has three qualifiers. And Joe Beach is one of the three. And I want to first congratulate Joe for making it to the World Cup finals. Not an easy task to do. And so we're going to learn a little bit about Joe here. Joe, if I'm not mistaken, you was in another region maybe a few years ago. So
yeah, I started out in Region 5 up in Kansas City area.
Yeah, Joe was over in Kansas. He was in the same region as I was in. But tell us, Joe. So you still have the same birds that you had back then, or changed up some?
I brought birds down here when I moved down here 14 years ago, but I lost them, most of them, in an epidemic about February of 2014. I lost almost my entire loft. So I started over. That was 11 years ago. It's taken me a while to get back to where I feel comfortable with what I've got, but I got a lot of help from a couple guys. Johnny Williams helped me out with some birds, and of course Kevin Monroe was huge in helping me out. So got a couple birds from Huey Kahn that helped put it all back together. So I've kind of blended everything back together over the course of the last 10 or 12 years.
Nice. And again, you can tell. I mean, it's where you're at right now, taking those families, putting them together, creating your own. Tell us, and this is one of the big ones, and we hear different things, but with the family of birds, your family that you created out of those, what have you found is a good, do you lock up in the winter?
I do for most of the winter. Once the fall flies are over, I pretty much locked down. Last year, I qualified for both the 11 and the 20, and I had to fly into late December, and I lost some birds, keeping them going, and I actually lost 2 birds during the qualifier for the 11 bird. But anyway, I normally shut down middle of November at the latest, and I don't fly birds. If I do, it's very sporadically until about the middle of February or 1st of March.
Okay. And when it comes time to get them ready, what have you found is the best way to get them ready as far as prepping them to start off and taking it from there as far as any specific seeds?
Once I get them flying, back in some kind of flying condition, I start my final prep 21 days prior to the scheduled fly date.
Good.
And the first thing I do is I give them, put Eco Tonic in their water for 3 days running.
Okay.
Get them build up a little immunity, and then my feed ratio early on is just basically 50% wheat and 50% milo. That's all I feed them. And get them flying the time that I want to fly.
How much of that approximately for how many birds are you looking at?
20 birds.
Specific straight 20?
And
about how much do you give them with that 50-50?
About
a cup. You don't want to. You're not breaking it down.
It's a little less than a cup, maybe. I mix it up myself, and I use a measuring cup. I put 3 cups of milo and 3 cups of wheat together and mix it all up, and then I feed my kits that straight. So it's probably a little over a cup per bird. I mean, not per bird, a cup per kit, and try to keep them. I'm trying to lean them down a little bit because they've been locked up all winter, but I'll feed them that straight, fly them every other day during that prep period until the final week.
So from 21 days out?
For the first 2 weeks.
Eco Tonic, said you put that in there?
Yeah, and then milo and wheat up till day 7 prior to the D-7, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And then,
That's a soldier. Well, that's an officer for you, soldier.
and then I switched to a every other day fly.
Okay.
3 days out, I lock them down. On that day, I feed them straight 16% no corn flying mix. It's got a lot of peas and stuff. The Versalog is 16% no corn. I can feed them all I want to eat that day. And then next day I feed them back to the 50-50 mixture of wheat and Milo. Same thing on the day before the fly. And I cut that ration a little bit so they're a little bit hungry in the morning when they come out. And then after they fly, there's a straight mix, straight Versalaga, 16% waiting for them when they come back down. And that's how I feed for a fly.
So what about the day before the fly? What do you end up giving them then?
Day before a fly, I'll mix a 50-50 of wheat and Milo, and I'll add just a dribble of the Versalaga 16% mix in there, just to give them a few little peas and a little different, but that's about it for.
All right.
Like I said, I feed them about 3/4 ration the day before, so they're still a little bit hungry when they go out in the morning.
So that's what you fed them today, because
Yeah.
Joe is going to be flying in the morning. We wish you the best of luck, Joe. Thank you for the information there. Again, congratulations in doing this. And this is not just Joe Beach. This is Lieutenant Colonel Joe Beach, retired. I got to find out a little bit more about that. We talked about him being at Fort Leavenworth for the longest. And Joe, we have something, off the military, how we hand these over, right? Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
That's nice. I love it.
Pretty nice coin that
Great.
all the qualifiers are getting.
Super.
And again, congratulations on
That's neat.
making it. Yes, sir.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. Good luck tomorrow. I
Thank
think
you.
you're gonna be all right.
Yep.
Let's see if this thing took. Oh no.